next thing I want to remind you guys about, knowing your state notary law. This is always a big one. And I give you guys basics on how to fill out a notarial certificate. I give you basics on making corrections and that kind of thing. But the bottom line is that every state is different. And it is impossible for me to know the notary law for every single state. The other thing, because some people are like, well, I'm in Texas like you, so you should be able to tell me Texas notary law. That's true. But here's the deal, guys. There are criminal and civil penalties attached to not following your state's notary law. Civil penalties mean you can get sued and lose money. Criminal penalties mean you can go to jail. You should not trust anybody with that type of power over your business and over your life. You should want to look this law up for yourself to make sure that you are doing it right. Because I promise you, if you go to court and tell the judge, well, Kendra said it was okay, the judge ain't gonna care. You know, we all know the saying, ignorance of the law is no defense. If you get caught speeding on the highway, you can't tell the police officer, well, I didn't know speeding was illegal. He's not going to care, because as a driver, as a licensed driver of a car, it is your job to be on top of driving law, motor vehicle law. So it is the same thing with being a notary public. As a commissioned notary public, it is your job to be on top of the notary law for your state. And some states have tiny little differences, like just in making corrections. I think I told you guys before, when you make a correction, some states are okay with just you initialing the correction. Some states want you to initial and date the correction. Some states may have some other crazy requirement that I wouldn't even begin to know is a requirement for making those corrections. So learning how to research your state's notary law is a crucial part of you being a notary public, a crucial part of you being a signing agent, and a crucial part of you being a business owner. You need to know your law. So where can you go to find the law for your state? Well, the first place you will always, or I'm not going to say first place you always want to look, but the most accurate information will be provided to you by your state. So I'm going to do a screen share. And again, who has this information for your state is different for every state. In Texas, it is the Texas Secretary of State website. There is a whole notary public section. Recently, there have been announcements made for things about COVID. So there was like different ID exemptions that were granted due to people not being able to renew their IDs due to COVID. Those exemptions had certain requirements that had to be met. So there's great information here about different things that are recently happening in Texas. As a Texas notary public, you need to come in here and look at this stuff because this stuff applies to you. For more information, let's go to frequently asked questions. And I won't lie, some of these websites can be difficult to navigate. So you just need to kind of get on here and play around to kind of figure out and learn where things are located. So when I go into frequently asked questions for notaries public, again, frequently asked questions, all right here. Check those out. That's going to be a great section to get answers to your questions. The actual law is here in chapter 406 of the government code. It's very dry reading, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's not exciting. It's law. But answers to questions are going to be found here. You can do a search, for different words, usually by going into your web browser. There's like a find. So I could type a particular word in here and do a search in the actual notary law itself. Let me go back a page. So you will want to use this resource. This is going to be the first-hand resource for answers about notary law in your state. So research, figure out who this entity is for your state. It is often going to be either the Secretary of State's website or the Department of State's website. Yes.
I was just wondering, is there a book or something with more like chronicalized, straightforward information? You can go straight to the law?
Yes. So that was going to be the second thing that I was going to tell you guys to get and to take a look at. I don't have mine sitting next to me. I think I showed you guys last time. You can purchase notary law primers for your state. The National Notary Association sells them. The American Association of Notaries sells them. I think I've purchased primers from both of them. So that is an easier way to see, review, search your notary law is to purchase one of those primers. And actually, let me go to the National Notary website real quick. So I'm on the National Notary Association website. I just went to supplies, and then I went to notary handbooks. And obviously, you'll want to make sure that you are logged into your state so that you get the appropriate state's book. And then you will want to purchase your state's notary primer. So this thing, it's a little book. I carry it in my notary bag, and it puts in more plain English and an easier way to find it, your state's notary law. You will probably want to repurchase this every couple of years because, again, notary law does change. So you'll want to make sure that you have the most updated version of this primer. I think I've got 3 or 4 of them from, different years. So you'll always want to make sure that you have an updated one. But I would absolutely suggest that everyone purchase a notary primer for their state. And again, you can get it from the National Notary Association, and you can also get it from the American Association of Notaries. But like it says, it tells you wordings for oaths and affirmations. It tells you, because this is another question that was coming up, procedures for keeping your journal of notarial acts. All of the laws, how to fill out your journal, all of that good stuff, guys, is going to be in this primer. You need this primer. Y'all know I don't tell you got to buy a lot of stuff. I'm not telling you got to buy this, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you get it because it is going to have the information that you need to make sure that you are following your state's notary law properly. So I will kind of segue down to my other thing I was going to talk about. Again, how to fill out your journal. Every state is different. Okay. Every state has different requirements. Some states do not require that you keep a journal at all. Some states are okay if you kind of put like the names of all of the documents on one line for the signers. Some journals require that the signer sign. Other journals, the signer doesn't have to sign. But let me say this, guys. Don't think of the journal as a headache. Don't think of the journal as, oh my gosh, this extra pain in the butt thing that's going to take me 5, 10, 20 minutes to do. Because here's the deal. Your journal protects you. That is real. Yes, it protects the signers to a particular extent, because there's a record of the transaction. But more than anything, your journal protects you. If there is an issue with documents, if there is a litigation over a notarization, it could happen years and years and years down the line. And you could be called into court to talk about a particular notarization that you did 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. You don't remember what happened. I barely remember what happened on notarizations I did last week. So if you ask me about a notarization I did years ago, I'm not going to remember. But if you keep an accurate journal, then you don't have to remember because the journal tells exactly what happened. And consistently keeping an accurate journal, again, protects you. So think about it that way. Don't think about what is the least amount that I can do to get away with getting my journal done properly. Think about this document, this book is here to protect me. and then go from there in deciding how much information you want to put into your journal if particular information is not required in your state. So Pamela had said she just learned today that signatures are no longer required in journals. Is this correct? It depends on what state you are in. As a Texas notary, I can tell you in Texas, a signature is not required in your journal. We are required to keep a journal, but we are not required to get signatures in our journal. Does it hurt to get a signature? No. Will a signature protect you? Absolutely. But by law in Texas, are you required to get a signature? No. So, again, guys, get your notary primer. See what is required for your state, for your journal. Do that at the minimum. And then if you want to add additional information, you can. So, for example, I usually also put what company I did the signing for. I will usually put the type of transaction, owner occupied purchase, non-owner occupied refinance. I put more information in my journal because again, that additional information protects me. So again, guys, please, and I know it's annoying. I know doing the journal is extra time. I know it's a pain. I've been doing it for 14 years. I know. But like I said, it protects you. And if something happens and you have to go into court, having that journal there to CYA, to cover your hiney, to cover your assets, will make that additional time absolutely worthwhile. And then kind of along that line, as far as, notary law, journal entries, how you fill out notarial certificates. This is something that I saw another notary do. And again, you have to realize being lazy about things only hurts you. Again, if something happens, it's going to hurt you as the notary. So this particular notary, you know how it'll usually ask in the notarial certificate how you know that person. And that's when you enter the ID that you saw. This notary just put ID. I know them by ID. Okay, what ID? What ID did you see? If I see their Texas driver's license, I put TXDL, Texas driver's license. If I see their Florida ID card, I put FLID, Florida ID. If I saw their US passport, I put USA pass. Because now I don't have to, again, hurt my brain. Because again, if you go to court and the judge asks you, notary public, how did you know who this person was? All you can say now is ID. You don't remember what ID you saw. And that puts you in a less firm position to protect yourself. Now, I did have a question that was asked in my signing agent basics group, and they were like, has anybody ever had to use their errors and omissions? Does anybody ever really get sued? I'm going to say this. I don't personally know of any notaries who have. But what I don't want to be is the one notary that it does happen to. I don't want it to happen to any of y'all. That's like asking people, should I really get car insurance? I don't really know anybody who's ever gotten into a bad car accident. So should I get car insurance? Okay, insurance is stuff in case stuff happens. We hope it doesn't happen. Statistically, it won't happen. But if it does happen to you, you want to be protected. So again, guys, don't try to do the minimum. Think of everything that you do as this is going to protect me. And then do the steps necessary to protect yourself. Oh, and another thing kind of along the line of notary law, this was asked in the group, and I just wanted to go over it again. Corrections in the notarial certificate. So probably the most common correction that you're going to run into is corrections to the venue, the state and or the county and parish. So in general, and again, I always got to give my caveat, follow your state's notary law. But in general, the venue is always going to be where your feet are actually at when you do the signing. So in Texas, the majority of the county in San Antonio is Bexar County. So 90% of what I do, my venue is state of Texas, county of Bexar. But if I get one that has a different state or a different county, then I have to make a correction. And to do that, most commonly, you will line through the incorrect information, state and or county. You will write the correct information. And then most often, you as the notary will initial the correction. But again, check your notary law for what you need to do when you correct your notarial certificate. Sometimes it's initials, sometimes it's initial and date. And again, other states could do something wonky that I don't even know to tell you to look for. So make sure that you look up in your notary law how to properly make corrections in your notarial certificate, because that is something that you will be doing often. So then there was also a comment, where to go for support on how to become a notary. And I'm assuming also notary training. So the National Notary Association is usually an easy place to get that information. Again, if you just click on your state, they have a link that probably says become a notary, and it'll walk you through the steps that you need to become a notary in your state. I also, again, use the American Association of Notaries. Let me pull up their website so I can show you what that looks like. Because I'm in Texas and these computers are smarter than us, it automatically defaults me to Texas information. But again, you can change the state. So if you are a Texas notary, this is personally the website that I use to renew my notary commission every year. And then you would just click on get started. In Texas, there's no class, there's no test. So you could actually fill out the application online, purchase your journal and stamp from this company all as one package, and become a notary super fast and easy. Again, the National Notary Association, right here, become a notary, click on it. And again, find your state to find the steps on how to become a notary. And it should tell you for each state exactly what you need to, that you would need. With their packages, I would normally with NNA just purchase basic stuff from them. You can always add other stuff later. But it'll basically walk you through for each step what you need to become a notary. Now, the National Notary Association, guys, though, is also a great resource for notary law information, even if you are not an NNA member. So always you can use their search site function. They've got a knowledge center, Notary 101. Guys, explore, look through this information. There's a ton of information available on the National Notary Association website that you can access without being a member. If you choose to be a member, that's great. You get access to a little bit more information, but it is absolutely not required. There's tons of information that you can get from not being a member. Same thing with the American Association of Notaries. When you make a purchase through them, I think you get like a free membership with them for a year. They send newsletters out with great information that will help you as a notary public. So those are definitely two websites, two resources that I would say follow, get on their email distribution list, look at their newsletters, read through the information that they send you, because it will be very, very helpful to you as a notary. And so let's see, I had a question. What are my thoughts about becoming an NNA member? Do I think it's worth it? Me personally, no, but it may be worth it to you. And here's why. NNA members have access to call their support line for help. I don't know how helpful their support line is, but you do have the ability to call in for support. And then, like I said, they also have, I think, an extra section with a little bit more information that's available. So I'm always really big, guys, on trying things. Try the membership for a year, and then you can decide for yourself, is it worth it? Because a lot of times folks ask questions, but there's no cut and dry answer. what's best for me isn't best for you. What works for me may not necessarily work for you. So this is your business. You have to figure out, is it worth it to me? So I would say it's worth trying. Somebody in the group actually posted, I think, a discount for the NNA not too long ago. So sign up, try it. And then don't just sign up and not do anything with it. Sign up and see what the benefits are. Use those benefits. Try calling their hotline. See if you end up having to sit on hold for 2 hours. See if they're able to actually give you an answer. So then that way you can decide, okay, yes, this membership is something I'm going to keep because it's beneficial. Or, I could do something better with that $30, $40 than being an NNA member. So try it. That's my official answer. Another question that was asked in the group that I wanted to go over with you guys, and I'll probably end up doing a module on this, is how does a signer sign when there's a power of attorney? All right. Another question that I got, somebody was wondering if I could give my thoughts on loan signing agents applying for an LLC. My answer to that is always going to be talk.
Just a side note, my signing on Friday was number 3.
Awesome.
And Monday is number 4. So Kendra is right. You don't have to be, a dozen or 2 dozen signings in to get local business. Those are by far way easier than signing company signings. It is a night and day difference. So
again, guys, just to reiterate, she did exactly what I teach you in module 4.